Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between TSLPolt and mouzCCMaNa. Mana is the green Protoss player and we have got Polt as the red Terran, and this is game 3 of a best of 3. So if you haven't watched the first two games, go and check them out because they are pretty damn fine. So go and give them a watch and then come back. Now, if you haven't paused and you haven't watched Game 1 and 2, spoiler alert, because, well, Game 1, Polt here, he did an amazing timing push. It was absolutely fantastic. He just rolled over Mana like he wasn't even there. Meanwhile, in Game 2, he just played straight up. He did some early harassment because Polt went for a really greedy, super fast expansion, a command center first build actually. And, well, Mana just rolled him after that. He went for it and he played a solid PvT. So congrats on Mana for leveling it up, and now we're on to game 3, which is on Daybreak, and obviously it's a tournament version, so there's this lovely supply depot here and a supply depot here, so no walling off of ramps. And really, because this is game 3 of a best of 3, both players, they have everything to play for, and frankly I'm just wondering what each is going to do. It looks like actually both can play pretty standard to start with, and I mean, it's always that tempting. Do you want to do something risky and try and win the game early on, or do you want to try and play a straight up match? And when you get into the third game of a best of 3, the decider, it always becomes a lot of pressure, and you tend to see people go from one extreme to the other, either really straight up games or, well, really risky games, because that's really what it comes down to, is do you want to win? And generally the answer is yes. Always yes, actually, not generally, it's always yes, people want to win. So, we will see up here, the Mana just doing everything pretty by the book. Got his gateway down, got his gas down, so has Polt, got his barracks down, got his gas down, and both players, they're not doing anything crazy. We've got a little bit of worker on worker action here, and they are going to run away. So, the probe was going to chase down the SCV, but then just thought, nah, I prefer the watchtower, I'm just going to watch. The probe likes to watch. Anyway, this first Marine is going to start running out, and is it going to be able to do anything? Well, possibly. Possibly. No Zealot even appears to be coming out as of yet. So there we go, just started. But obviously a Marine against the Zealot is a bit of a nightmare. This SCV is going to see absolutely everything. We'll see the 2 gases down, and that's quite a big tell in terms of, well, if there's 2 gases down already, then it's probably going to be quite a quick tech play. And I mean, that's not what Polt's doing. Polt, he's just getting up this, actually a factory, so a very early factory, getting that Marauder out. Now what is Polt going to be doing here? This could be interesting. This is very different to the opening, the kind of general consensus he's been going before this. I mean, in game 1 and 2, Polt was very infantry focused, getting a lot of barracks up quickly, with stim, with combat shield, and using that, whereas now it looks like he's just going to be getting some Hellions, getting some Marauders, and this could be pretty damn interesting. And I mean, will Mana be able to deal with it? He's got this probe down here looking like he wants to be expanding, and obviously he's now just got the money, so there we go. We will see that Nexus come down. This Stalker going a bit of the long way round of Daybreak here just to get over to Polt's base, and I mean, if it ever gets there, it's going to die a horrible death because, well, there's Marauders there. Marauders completely destroy Stalkers, especially with concussive shell, and we will see this SCV on its way. What have we got going on for Mana? Well, he's getting another 2 more gateways, so that'll be getting up to 3 gate. It was a 1 gate expand, getting some more gates just to be able to defend it. That SCV will die. SCVs can't survive the wrath of an angry Stalker. This sentry now just kind of wandering his way around. Obviously, 1 watchtower held by each player. They have to go the long way though, because these rocks are in the middle. A really nice feature of Daybreak are these rocks that, I mean, early game the rush distance is pretty damn long. Late game though, well, these go down and then it gets pretty damn quick, so that can be pretty entertaining to watch. And Stim is now on the way for Polt, but he's also got these Hellions here. The Hellions moving forward just to take control of the watchtower, and this is pretty all-inish by Polt. He's pulled a lot of SCVs with him, he's got a lot of Hellions, he's really just going for it. No sign of an expansion at all, no sign of anything at all. And what is he going to be doing here? Well, he's just going for it, and if Polt doesn't do a incredible amount of damage, then he's going to have an incredible amount of problems. Meanwhile, we will see Mana, well, he's got his expansion down, and he's getting robotics facilities. Warp Gate tech is done, but does Mana have enough units? Well, the supply is pretty equal, but these Stalkers are getting picked off. Concussive Shell is just allowing Polt here to take down unit after unit. Let's just hide this UI if we can. No, I don't know why this doesn't work sometimes, but anyway, we will just see this is huge damage going on. This base, this natural from Mana is going down. There is not a chance at all of this surviving, and well, I mean, can Mana hold it up for this? He's chrono boosting out that Immortal, which is essential to deal with these Marauders, but I mean, he's not going to have anything there to deal with it until this base has fallen. And obviously that now means that Polt is getting his own expansion down behind this. And I mean, I don't actually think Polt will be able to win here. I think Mana's just got too much stuff now and will be able to hold it off, especially now that Immortal is in play. But Polt, he didn't lose hardly anything there. 721 resources lost in total, but he killed off a Nexus, and killing off a Nexus, well, that works really well in terms of preventing your opponent moving forward. And Polt just following this up with more barracks and a second gas, his command center half done. So I mean, Mana's only just restarted building his own natural base, so Polt is going to have a big advantage here. That was a lovely push coming out of Polt, very effective. What I particularly liked was the fact he didn't overcommit. He did the damage he knew he needed to and then pulled back. A starport on the way, a reactor on that factory, so we will see a switch going on there. These Hellions moving forward just to go and harass, but they're not going to be able to do anything at all. If they do move in, they'll just get demolished by this massive army. And we will see now another Immortal getting chrono boosted out, but where is that actually rallied to? So this is a bit strange, rallying that robotic facility to Polt's base. If he doesn't notice that, that could be a bit disastrous. But we will see these Hellions moving around. We've got that Observer moving on over there for Mana. Mana pushing these Hellions back with the Stalkers and Immortal, and that won't be going any further. This base for Polt now just flying down. More barracks on the way. This is a lot of barracks being added in. Stim is done. Combat Shield is on the way. Concussive Shell is finished. And there is the Observer. We'll see absolutely everything. And really, Mana's not going to be too happy about seeing that, because he's only just got his natural base back down. But actually looking at that, Mana's got a big supply lead. It would appear that Polt didn't actually get as much out of that push as he needed to. He doesn't have the production facilities, because obviously he just went for a 1 barracks, 1 factory opening and pulled a lot of SCVs. And let's actually have a look at the worker count. Well, 33 to 31, so pretty even, especially when you take into account mules. And well, that means that Mana clearly has the army supply, and this is brave of Polt, trying to take his third base super quickly. Will force a cancel though, because Mana, he's just thrown down that forward pylon for the war pins and is just moving forward, and that is definitely going to get cancelled. I mean, if Polt has a reaction time, but he doesn't, so that was a big loss there for Polt, not managing to get a cancel off. Polt's army even out of position here as well, so that could be a bit of a nightmare, because obviously Mana's got the high ground advantage on the attack, which is never something you want, and Mana just pushing forward here. Mana doing incredible amounts of damage. Those Immortals absolutely ripping through the buildings. All of the SCVs have been pulled here for Polt, but to be fair, I don't think he's going to be holding it. Now he's even walled off Polt's own ramp with those force fields, and he's just killed so many SCVs, just playing ever so well. Mana is just rolling forward, and I mean, just the sheer number of SCVs, 30 killed by Mana. This is pretty much GG. Even if this push doesn't finish off Polt, then I mean, he's just so far behind in terms of income that he'll have a complete nightmare dealing with it. That one Immortal staying up for what appears like forever will be able to snipe off yet another Marauder. 12 kills on that Immortal before it finally went down. And well, if Polt wants any chance of staying in this, he really needs to go and do a lot of damage, but he'll have a tough time doing that, because, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gates, 1 robotics facility, and, well, Mana's base is happily up and running. Take a look at the worker count, 13 to 37. More Stalkers here just trying to clear out these rocks just to allow it, and, I mean, well, this Observer is seeing absolutely everything, and frankly, Polt does not have enough stuff. He doesn't. There's no other way of saying it. He does not have enough stuff. he has, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marauders and 2 Marines and 2 Medevacs. He is trying to resupply and getting over, but this factory will see the Mana's taking his 3rd base, and, well, I mean, to be honest, Mana, he's just resupplying. He's just got so much stuff coming out. Not even getting out another robotics facility, anything out of there at all, or really just going purely gateway units, and that's all he needs. There is a Hellion there, but I mean, those 2 Hellions aren't going to be able to do much at all. They may be able to sneak in and get a couple of hits off, but frankly, with only 2, it takes 2 hits to kill off a drone, so I mean, they're not going to be terribly, terribly dangerous. There is that Stalker there as well. 1 probe does go down, another Stalker getting warped in, and I mean, this isn't huge damage by any means here, and the Hellions are going to get cleaned up. Meanwhile, we will just see the Mana has so much stuff, it's going to take out that factory. Look at the worker difference, still absolutely huge. Polt, though, surprisingly coming back from this, and that is really, really surprising, in all honesty. I was saying Polt was completely out, but obviously with the upgrades, he could be in a pretty good spot, but doesn't want to lose those Medevacs. That would be disastrous, and it looks like Mana is forcing him back even further. Every stim you force, obviously fantastic. Waste Medevac energy on healing up your units, but 2 more Medevacs have joined the fray there, and it looks like Polt is gearing up for a drop. And whether that's a good move or not, we'll wait and see. Possibly not, though, because Mana's just moving forward. Charging straight forward. 1 Medevac goes down. That second one is also going to go down as well, forcing those Marauders back. But the drop is going to be able to go off in the main. And Mana is so far out of position with all of his army that he's got nothing to defend. Now, meanwhile, we will see that these Marauders and Marines are going in there. The concussive shell allowing Polt to kite those Zealots. But Mana's army has managed to make it back, picking off those Medevacs ASAP to prevent those units from escaping. And well, Mana is going to be able to clean that up now. Those Marauders have been cornered, but obviously this 3rd base now is starting to look a bit vulnerable, because look at this force coming in for Polt. Just so many units rushing forward, and there's just a train of units following up from this for Polt as well. So Mana, he's got to be really, really careful. This 1 Marauder is trying to run, but it's going to die, which is never fun. We will see Chrono Boost going out on these Warp Gates. The 1-1 upgrades are about to finish for Mana. He's getting his Twilight Council out. What have we got for Polt? Well, Polt's got no upgrades at all in terms of damage or armor. Does obviously have Concussive Shells, Stim, and Combat Shield, though. So Mana has got his 3rd base up very, very happily. So essentially, Polt is playing against the clock. The longer this goes on, the harder it will be. But I mean, it won't be harder if he just goes and snipes down that base, and that is exactly what he's going to do. Those Marauders going through that 3rd base like a hot knife through butter. Polt just wisely running away, trying to get back, turning and stimming, and gets quite a few big nice hits off there. Some force fields do try to trap some units, but won't manage to do it. And I mean, this is an intense game. Polt is doing an amazing comeback. A Templar Archives on the way, charge on the way as well for Mana now. And what we got? Well, those 1-1 upgrades are done now for Mana. 2-2 coming straight out. Still no upgrades at all for Polt. So again, the longer this game goes on, the harder it will be for Polt. Look at the workers though, 51 to 37. Not a good position for Polt to be in, but his army, that is a good position for him to be in. But the longer this game goes on, the worse it will be. +1 infantry attack just coming out now for Polt. And well, he's gearing up for another drop, but of course this observer is going to see everything. Mana is preparing to deal with that. He's already pulling some Stalkers back, and that could be disastrous for Polt. But it looks like he's just going to move in, and there are quite a few units here, but obviously there is only the High Templars there with that feedback, which of course can take down a Medevac pretty damn easily. Those Medevacs coming in for the drop, they're very low on energy, so this couldn't be too, well, it might not do too well at all. The Stalker's sniping down the Medevacs super quickly, and that drop is frankly now going down. We've got big engagement down here as well, and this is going a lot better for Polt. Those force fields aren't actually being too effective for Mana either. It does look like Polt has come off a lot better here, and this 3rd base Mana is trying to retake is not looking so good. Those sentries have to deploy a force field in order to escape, although it looks like they've now just stopped, and Polt is looking in a dominating position yet again. This game is to and fro, and well, that 3rd base from Mana wasn't cancelled, and looks like it's going to get cleaned up, but just still more units are getting warped in. How much damage can those Stalkers do? Trying to focus down Marauder after Marauder, but they're going to get taken out themselves. And now this 3rd base of Mana is down. It is out of there, and it is not going to be going any further. Although, having said that, here comes the Zealots. Will Polt be able to take it down? Yes, he can. So, yet again, Polt just managing to take out more bases, and it's just really keeping Mana pinned back. And I'd actually call it now that Polt has the advantage. And what a turnaround that was. After this game is pretty damn crazy. What a great end to a best of 3. This observer just going along, just checking to see what could be happening. We will see that Polt taking his 3rd command center, and he's just playing well. He's already got his 3rd command center, floating this down to take this high yield Vespian Geyser. Obviously the only downside is there's a couple of less mineral fields. The observer will see that. So this is the 4th base for Polt there, and yet again just denying this 3rd base, running forward with those Marauders and Marines with Stim. And this is not a good position at all for Mana. Mana has got serious problems. He does have the upgrade advantage though. 2-2 against 1-0. So, frankly, Mana has got to do something impressive if he wants to stay in this game. Because, I mean, well, Polt now on 3 bases, soon to be on 4 bases. And, I mean, once Polt gets up to 4 bases, his production is just going to be scary. And, well, there goes the scan to see exactly what Mana's got. And not very much at all. Polt 39 supply ahead of Mana there, and well, this is not looking good at all for Mana. A huge drop gearing up here, and there is nothing in terms of observers or anything to scout that going down. So what is Mana going to do? Well, he's going to move forward with his army. He's got to be so careful. And Polt just playing amazingly. He's harassing this 3rd base while harassing the main base with drops. And Mana just frankly cannot be in 2 places at once. And he's pulled all of his army right down to this 3rd base to defend it. And in comes this huge drop. All of the tech and production of Mana could have some problems now. Look at how quickly those Marauders and Marines go through all of these buildings, those probes. And now this Nexus could get targeted down. Although it looks like Polt is just choosing to go for the pylons. Meanwhile, we have got Mana pushing back most of Polt's army, and our Tosis pylon does mean that all of the production for Mana is now out of the game. The cybernetics core is down, and frankly, Polt has won now. There is nothing that Mana can do. He's not got enough supply to push straight forward, and obviously he's lost all of his production facilities. He is going to try and go for it though, and who can blame him? But look at that great defensive arc. One Archon nearly goes straight down. Meanwhile, this drop is still doing absolutely huge damage up in the main. All of the tech of Mana is getting taken out. He's got no gateways, he's got no cybernetics core, and Mana just going for it. Get some good storms off, but I think there's just too many units there for Polt with such a great arc. And, well, Polt is going to clean that up, and Mana saying 2 laggy, GG. So, bit of a shame there that it did end on a 2 laggy, but good game indeed for Polt. He came back from that incredibly well. If you did enjoy these games, please give them a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Twitter and all that shenanigans. And I hope you did enjoy. Leave me comments about what you thought of the games and of the casting. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in again.